What's up, guys? How are you all doing? Hey, how would you all like to make your very own automated herb garden? Stay tuned. I'll show you how to make one. Alright guys, what you're going to need to build this automated herb garden that we're going to be working with is a few things that you can pick up at your local hardware store. Where I picked up mine was actually at Lowe's, I believe, was the hardware store that I chose, but you should be able to find this stuff at your local hardware store. Now, what we're going to look at is, this is the stuff that you're going to be needing. So, we need a grow lamp. I found this 60 watt Sylvania spot grow lamp. What is that, 1,000 hours, whatever, but it's actually a UV lamp is what it is, so you'll need one of those. You also need, for that little motor that we have, or little pump that we have, it uses a really small tube. So I've got some tubing here, some little just simple vinyl tubing. I believe this is 1/8 inch by 3/16. If we can grab a piece of it here, I believe it will say, yeah. I don't know if you can see that. Let me get my hand behind it. So it's 3/16 outside diameter by 1/8 inch inside diameter. Okay, so we need some of that. I've got 3 feet. This stuff is usually pretty cheap. I think mine was like 20 cents a piece. Now this I could not find at Lowe's. I had to go to Atwood's to get this. But you know, anywhere, probably an Ace Hardware, really any other hardware store or whatever should have this. For some reason, Lowe's didn't carry it. Maybe Home Depot does. I don't know, but they didn't carry that small. So the next form of tubing that you need to have is, since this is so tiny, it's hard to be able to hook up to our sensor. I don't know if you, okay, so this is our flow sensor. Our flow sensor has a bigger diameter, so this little guy is just not going to cut it and seal properly. See, it's real wobbly in there. So that's where this tubing is going to come from. This was actually fairly inexpensive. It's a polyethylene tubing, okay, is what it is. This is 1/4 inch, if I believe, yeah, 0.17 inside diameter and 1/4 inch outside diameter. Okay, and then I got 25 foot of this for only, like, I don't know, a few bucks. It was just like $3 or $4. Not a big deal. The reason I'm going to do that is we're going to have to make some sort of an adapter. This fits perfectly inside this guy, and when you tighten it down, that's what these compression fittings are for. Is when you tighten these fittings down, well, I'd have to get it inside it. When you take one of these fittings off, and then you slide the tubing in, and then you screw this down, and you get it real nice and tight. The tubing is real tight, see? And so it seals it up, and that's what you want. So this 1/4 inch polyethylene tubing will work great for connecting up to this. Now we need some sort of an adapter, because our pump is using this tubing, which is way smaller. In fact, this can almost fit inside that one. Okay, so we're going to have to build an adapter. Now, to build an adapter for that, set this out here, that's what these two pieces are for. Okay, we've got, let's go this one first. This one is a brass hose barb. Okay, it's an 1/8 inch inside diameter hose barb with a 1/4 inch MIP, which means it's a 1/4 inch threaded connector. Now this, the little tiny hose, if we can pop this open, I'll show you. Now, the little tiny hose here, let me grab an end of it. Oh, come here. Okay, so now this we can push onto, and I mean, it is pretty tough to get on there, which is good, because that means we can shove this. I may have to dip it in some water or something, but see, we can shove that. Let's see if it'll focus. Shove this completely on there, and it will, then that way it'll ensure a tight seal. We won't have to put a hose clamp or anything like that on it. So that works out great for that. But then we got this big honker, 1/4 inch adapter. Well, that's where this guy comes in handy. At my hardware store, like I said, this guy came in. This is a quick connect adapter. It's PVC, I think it's TPE plastic or something like that, I don't remember. But it is a 1/4 inch outside diameter, okay, with a 1/4 inch threaded female pipe deal. So basically, it's a 1/4 inch adapter. I'll show you what this does. Essentially, what this is one of those quick fit things. It's like a quick snap connector. You pull out the inside. Whoops, not totally out. Well, you can. You take this little guy off, and what you do is he slides over the end of your tubing here. See? Then you push all of this in there like that, and then you shove it all together, and it snaps in and also seals the end here, is what this is for. And that will connect this up. Get that back in there so I don't lose it. Okay? But then the other end will fit this. We'll throw a little Teflon tape on there. And then as you can see, this screws right in. See? So there we go. There's our adapter that will go from the 1/4 inch tubing to the 1/8 inch tubing so that our pump can pump the water through our flow sensor, okay, that's 1/4 inch as well, so that way that's all matches, and then the 1/4 inch tubing we'll use for distributing the water. And so that's another thing. This tubing will also be used, that's why I was glad that it came in a big pack like this. It'll also be used for distributing our water. And what I mean by that is I'm going to take this tubing and bend it out. I may have to hit it with a heat gun or something to get it to bend it. Well, I don't know, it's flexing up. It'll be long, okay? And what I decided to do is you can buy these 1/4 inch Vynal Tees. Okay, see these? This is for drip systems, is what this is for. Now, what my thinking is each tee will be basically the drip system, okay, the little drippy thing. So if I were to break one of these out, pull one of these out real quick. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm basically, if I had 2 sections of pipe, I'm going to shove this in the end of this pipe. Okay, whoops, sorry, I didn't mean to bump the camera. I'm going to shove this in the end, and I'm trying not to shove it all the way in. And then let's say this is the other side of the pipe. I would shove this in there, and then the water can come out. See, you'll have a long length of pipe, okay, kind of like here, since this is all wadded up and this one isn't. Let me show you. If you had like a long length of pipe, you're going to have these every so often, okay. In this is how we're going to do it, and I'll show you how this all works. You know, I'll assemble this on camera so you guys can see it. But that's basically what it is. These are going to be spaced out throughout the length of pipe to water, and that way the water will just come out of the center of this. Okay, so that's basically how it's going to work. I'll like I said, I'll show you guys as I start to build this thing. So that's what I got these little 1/4 inch Vynal Tees for. Okay, now the other problem is if I have just a long piece of pipe, you know, this end's going to be open. You know, I'll end up cutting this off, you know, at a certain length, you know, and put these little tees in it. But the problem is I'm going to have a hole here. The water's just going to go out the end of this. Okay, never fear. That's what. Let's see if I can get it. Goof plugs are for. I love how the name of these are Goof plugs. That's just fantastic. But basically what this is, yeah, you got to buy them in a pack. So, you know, I get like 80 million. But anyway, you bust one of these off and then shove it in the end. And then voila, there we go. And we're not talking a ton of pressure. I mean, the little pump can't build, you know, a whole ton of pressure here. So we're not worrying about, you know, building up a ton of pressure and blowing that out. And so anyway, so that's basically what you need. So you need some, again, 1/4 inch polyethylene tubing, or at least a type of tubing that's fairly stiff. Like, see, this stuff's, I don't know if you can tell, but like if I try to squeeze it, I mean, I'm pushing pretty hard. This stuff's pretty tough because you want it to be pretty stiff. That way, when you hook it to the flow sensor and the flow sensor clamps down on it, it doesn't just smush real easy to where the water can get around it. You want something that's pretty tough. So that's why I recommend the polyethylene tubing. And then you need just some vinyl tubing. That's the 1/8 inch tubing. Okay, so that way it'll hook up to the pump and create a good seal. You also need, or at least I chose to go this quick connect method. One of these little quick connects that's a 1/4 inch OD by 1/4 inch FIP, which I think is Female International Pipe Standard or something like that. I think it's what IP stands for, is International Pipe Standard. And then you also need a 1/8 inch ID hose barb with a 1/4 inch, and the M stands for Male International Pipe Standard or whatever. So you need that to build this little adapter to adapt between the vinyl and the polyethylene tubing sizes. And then you'll also need some of these little 1/4-inch Vynal Tees for basically the drip system, and some Goof plugs so you can plug up the end of your deal, as well as a grow light, so that way you can give your plants light if you want to keep it somewhere like in your basement or something where there isn't a light source readily accessible, at least natural light source. Readily accessible. All right, guys. Well, that's going to be it for what you need. Oh, and then you also need, some sort of a basin to put it in. I know it's going to be hard to show since I'm zoomed in here, but I bought. Oh man, that's going to be huge. But I bought one of these. I'll show it to you later. I bought one of these, kind of like a trough to put 3 or 4 herb plants in there. So if you want thyme and basil and oregano or whatever, you can put them all in the deal together and then water them all. So let's go ahead and I will stop the camera here and we'll go ahead and take a look at how to build this thing. Okay guys, I've backed the camera off a little bit. Here is the box that I chose to be. It's still kind of big I need to have a bigger tripod that goes up taller. Anyway, here is the box that we're going to be looking at. And so anyway, we're going to be measuring our lengths and stuff for this. This will basically be full of dirt, okay? And we'll have maybe 1, 2, 3 plants in this guy essentially, and then we're gonna run a strip of tubing down through here to water this little guy, okay? So that's probably what we're gonna do. So we're gonna go ahead and get into this. Let's get into our polyethylene tubing here, and then I'm gonna attempt to straighten this out a little bit, see if I can get it by bending it the opposite direction, see if I can get it to straighten up a little bit for us. We may have to hit it with the old heat gun. All right, come on, baby. It's our length of pipe. Let's get this out of the way. Let's go ahead and assemble some other things. All right. So let's get our little adapter going here. So I've got all the parts for our little adapter. How we doing on the camera? Yeah, we're looking good. So now we're gonna go ahead and we will set that off to the side. Get some good old Teflon tape out. Okay. Teflon tape is fantastic for sealing up stuff just because it's super slippery and it can take amazing amounts of heat. Not that we have to worry about that here because none of this is going to be very hot. Teflon tape is fantastic because it's slippery. You can put it in and it screws right in. And it causes the threads not to gall. So that's another good reason for the good old Teflon tape. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a couple wrenches. I'm not going to make this like crazy tight or anything like this, but I want it to be, fairly tight where, it's not going to come apart on me or anything weird. So I'm just going to tighten her down. I'm not going real crazy with it because it is plastic. I don't want to bust something. So there we go. Just a few turns ought to be good for it. So now theoretically we should be able to take our little material here. Shove this guy in there. Should be basically it. All right, let me pull out on it. All right, we're good. So what we're going to do is I'm going to see if I can't grab me a pen or a pencil or a marker of some sort. Here we go. Good old Sharpies. That's right. So what I'm going to do, hang this off to the side, is I'm going to look at where I would like to put little drippies. And I mean, this doesn't have to be perfect. Probably put one, right there. Probably right there. Just kind of go down the line here. We'll just make it, fairly good. We'll start with that. The great news is we have lots of vinyl tubing, so we can just, do that like that. So now what we're going to do is I'm going to cut this all up and put the little pieces in. And I'm not going to let you bore you with that. I'll do one and then I'll show you the other. So I'm going to cut that in two right there. Take one of our little ends here, shove that into the tube. May even have to use the old pliers. Pliers are good. Pliers are good for so many different things. I'll shove that on. So see how that fits on there? Fits on there real well. Sorry, I'll find the viewfinder here. And then we will take the rest of the tubing. Do the same thing. Grab a hold of this. Shove that back on there. Oh, baby. There we go. All right. So now, like I said, I'm not going to have you sit through and you know, all of this painful cutting and putting in there, but it should be good to go. So I'm gonna stop the deal, do the rest of these, and we'll be back. Okay guys, we're back. All right, I've done all of the little barbs. It's gonna be like that. You know, I got ahead of myself. I cut that off. I can't put this on yet because we need to mount the little flow sensor. I'm thinking of mounting this like this, or maybe not. I don't know. I got to come up with a way. I started to mount this here, and then I just realized that, oh, whoops, I got to have the sensor in there. So really this has got to be something kind of like this number going on, maybe like that. And then this will go and go in through there, which will hook up to that. So the idea, I think we may end up, hey, I wonder if we can shove goof plugs in there. Think we can? Because I goofed. Can we shove goof plugs in there? Will one fit? I may have to make the hole a little bigger. I don't know. Will they fit? I think these will actually fit if I can squeeze it hard enough. Heck yeah, they fit. Yeah. See, they're called goof plugs for a reason. So I get this other one. Oop, bumping the camera here. Yeah. See, meant to do that. See, yeah, that's right. You won't be able to see the inside because we will cover it up with dirt. That's right, we meant to do that. So now my idea is, man, these things are, maybe there's a reason why you have a whole bunch of these, you know. All right, that's the way it is. So we're going to basically mount something up that kind of looks something like this. Can you guys see this? Okay. And then this will go on there, and maybe, I don't know if I can get it high enough. Maybe I could do something like that, and then it'll go in to there, and then that'll make the little sprinkler thing. So that's what I'm going to do now, is we're going to cut the piping and everything and put this all together and mount this all up nice and neat, drill some holes, run some zip ties and what have you, and make this look all nice and pretty. All right? So we'll be back when we're finished with that. Okay guys, well, I got it all pretty much hooked up, got it all mounted and whatnot. I'm going to run a test run of it. I'm going to go ahead and plug in the power supply, and I'm going to see what we can get out of her, okay? So here we go. Oh, looks good. Oh yeah, there we go. Looks like that's watering pretty good. Maybe we got too many little deals in there because those aren't doing very well. But oh well, it's just the pressure of the little guy. Well, in any case, I got some tweaking to do, but it does work. So, hooray! So anyway, all right guys, well, I'm going to do some more tweaking on this, and we will probably get into the code here after a little bit. This is all for the watering mechanism portion of it, which is the main part. So that's how you put the parts together, and this was all running, got no leaks, got nothing bad going on. I think we're successful. So now we just have to put the rest of it together and kind of find a place. I'm trying to figure out how I want to mount this little motor and other things like that. So that's the first beginning piece of this. We will be looking more at hooking up the electronics to it here after a bit. Thanks for watching. Okay guys, how you doing? Well, we're getting ready to put together and plant our little plants here. So we just went and got them, and then we're going to go ahead and take some potting soil and our little trough basin that we have here that we've built up with our automated stuff, the flow sensor and whatnot. And then we're going to go ahead and plant our basil, cilantro, and thyme. We're going to go ahead and get to that. So let's take a close-up and we'll be right back. Okay guys, well, first things first, I'm going to put on me some gardening gloves here right fast. Helps if I put it on the right hand. Anyway, so I'll probably take our little watering deal and set it out to the side for a minute, because we're going to be adding a bunch of dirt up into this thing. So now we're going to see if I can't make a gigantic mess and pour some dirt all over the place. If I hit the microphone, I apologize, but this is a really big bag of dirt, and so it is really compacted. So I think I may have to just do this with my hands perhaps, because there is a lot of dirt in here, but it's been sitting in the garage for a while, so it is really packed in there. So let's see, I think the easiest thing will be is just scoop it out with my hands.
That's right. So we're going to lay kind of a good bed. I'm going to break it up a little bit and kind of lay a good bed down so it'll hold up the little plants. And then we'll go ahead and plant them in there. So, okay. So let's start with the thyme, okay? So we got thyme. I don't know if you can see that. There we go. Take this little baggie off. All right. Set that under there. Okay. So let's grab... A lot of times if you just squeeze, oops, hello, get on camera here. If we squeeze these side to side, it loosens it up to where it'll just come right out. So you see that? Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to make a little, whoa, hey, it's windy. We're going to make a little spot for him right over here. So we're going to stick him right there, okay? We'll end up filling him up with more dirt here in a minute. Now next I'll go with the old cilantro. So we'll get him out of his little bag. There we go. All right, squeeze it a little bit. Yeah, squeeze a little more. Turn it, squeeze it. It should come right out. There we go. Apologize for coughing. So, just got over getting sick, like I said before, and so got to make sure and not cough something fierce on camera. All right, so that's got those little guys. And now lastly, we've got some good old basil that we're going to throw in there. Boy, I tell you, this stuff smells fantastic. I love fresh herbs. I've got a bigger garden. If I were to swing the camera around, I got a bigger garden off that direction. And this is one of the main things that's in there is this good old basil. Basil is absolutely beautiful smelling. I love to just pick a leaf right off and just eat it. It is just absolutely amazing. It is that good. All right, so now we're going to start, in fact, now that I have these little cups now, I'm going to start filling this up with dirt. So we're going to take one of these little cups, just dump some dirt in there. There we go. So we'll just dirt all these in. It should be good to go. Shouldn't take very long. This isn't that huge of a planter box here. So we should be able to just throw some dirt right in there. Look at that. We'll level this off here in a minute. A little bit of dirt in there. There we go, guys. Get these little guys situated in here nice and good like. There we go. Need a little bit on that end. Let me break this dirt up a little bit. It's been set in the old garage here for a little while, so it has taken its toll on moisture and getting compacted all down and everything. All right, let's see, I need a little more there. We're just making a giant mess here. Why not? Of course, that's the reason I choose to do this outdoors on the good old patio furniture. That way, it goes everywhere. A little bit more right there. Let's just grab a handful. We'll just put a little handful of dirt right there. Yeah, I like that. All right, I like the way that's looking. Dust him off. Ah, well, when we water, it won't be too bad. All right, now the idea behind this watering hose is I'm going to line him along the back. Okay, these little guys out of the way. And then what I'll end up doing probably is I may end up putting little pipes to come off of it. Yeah, we need a little more dirt. Just a little bit in that corner there. There we go. Get that little thyme plant all situated in there. A little more right here. More right there. There we go. Just lay that little watering apparatus right like that. Put a little bit of bend into it. There we go. And that little guy will sit just like that. Keep this thing watered. Okay. Grab a little bit more dirt for that corner. Needs just a hair more. Spread that all out. And there we go. Apologize again for the wind. It is kind of a windy day. Of course, I'm in Kansas, so, you know, wind is not uncommon. So it looks like I may have to take one of this tube right here, maybe throw a little heat. I don't know if you can see that. Throw a little heat right here because it's wanting to bring up and bring the whole thing up. So I may throw a little heat right here with the old heat gun and just push that down to where it'll want to bend down. That's the only problem with this polyethylene tubing, is that it is very, very stiff, and it kind of wants to do what it wants to do regardless of what you want it to do. But I do kind of like how it's kind of wrapping around here, if you can see this, but it's wrapping around here. I kind of like that to where the tubes are sitting right at the base of the plant. So we'll let the plant grow and water it right at the base of the plant. I like that. That's what I enjoy. All right, so that may be a little too curvy. See if I can bend this the other direction. Like I said, this polyethylene tubing, man, it kind of goes where it wants to go. All right, so there we go. We got our garden planted. So that's how easy it is for all the mechanics. I think we'll probably end the mechanics video here, hook up the tubing and get all the stuff in there, and plus plant the plants, get that all set up and them ready to grow and whatnot. So now what we're going to do is I will send you to the next video after this. Keep a lookout. We will check out how to program the Intel Edison and all the Arduino code and everything that we will do to automate this whole thing, what sensors we're going to use and all that jazz. So in any case, there it is. Thanks, guys. Make sure and like, subscribe, share, all that jazz, all that fun stuff. And with that, I ought to do it. We'll see you next time, guys.